Welcome to another episode of the Sound Sister Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Drea Doll, a.k.a. Drewow. And I'm here with my lovely ladies. Say hello, ladies.
Angela Rose Red.
Yappy Chaos.
On this episode, we're going to be talking to two Arizonan independently owned business owners. We wanted to promote Saturday instead of Black Friday.
Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday. So we're going to be talking to the two owners. One owns the Superstitious Jackalope, and the other lady owns Siphon Apothecary.
Apothecary.
What she said. So yeah, we're going to be talking to them about what it's like to own small business in Arizona. And no, they also are roller derby girls. And who doesn't love roller derby girls?
True. Well, one of them is retired, but, you know, they both have derbied.
Yeah. And that's just blossomed in Arizona, how big it's become. Roller derby is just taken on to a whole different other level. I'm talking 15 years ago when I was in the punk rock scene, that was one of the first things that was new. And it was a league, and now there's multiple leagues.
Right. And they're a huge supporter of the punk rock community in general.
Yeah.
Like, they always have, like, different acts and music. You've probably played a derby show, right?
I've played a few derby shows, yeah.
Too, yeah.
And just one of those things that go hand in hand is punk rock and derby. So I like it. It's a good match, and we're going to be talking to them.
Boss babes.
Yeah. So let's do a punk round. No, let's do a round table. Angela, who's had some, what are you drinking, a cappuccino? Or
Espresso. Yeah. Good luck, guys. I'm just still coming off the high from Henry Rollins and Bob Gruen on Friday. For those of you that don't know, we have this festival that goes on every year in Mesa. It's the Mesa Music Festival. And they feature various of other local musicians, or they also, you know, travel out big named national acts. And one of the things that they offered was a free kind of like spoken word with famous punk rock photographer Bob Gruen, which, by the way, no idea he was going to be there. Drea just said, yeah, there's some photographer that's going to be talking before Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
And he just takes a lot of Clash photos. And then as I see the slideshow, I'm like, holy fuck, this is one of my favorite musicians that's inspired me.
Photographers?
Yeah. Photographer, musicians. That's it. Photographer, musician.
What, cappuccino? Would you have a espresso?
I don't even
Espresso
know.
does to you?
I have a coffee station at my house. And
Yeah, she does.
fuck it.
It's fucking amazing.
It
Thanks.
is.
I mean, you go to Gabby's house and, like, man, get some coffee, record an ep, whatever. Anyway.
Focus.
So,
I just want to say I had a really good time going with you to that, and actually seeing how, like, inspired and drawn you were, and the fact that you were like grabbing the mic out of the guy's hand to, like,
I do have video of this. I do have 3 videos of.
you have 3
I do.
videos. Okay.
So we might post them.
So at the end, after he talked about his journey and his work and everything, they had an open mic thing where you can ask questions. And Gabby, of course, whispers to me, dude, you should go ask a question. And I, at first, for about 5 seconds, thought, I can't do that. And then I'm all, fuck that. I'm going to do that. So I went to go hunt down up front and try to ask a question. And finally, some random guy came in, gave me a mic, and I was the first one to have a mic. And it's at the Mesa Amphitheater. Again, many stories I've talked about, that's huge. And I'm sitting there, and right before, some guy in the back decides to ask a question. It was my fucking question that I was going to ask, which was, you know, what advice do you have for up-and-coming photographers that are wanting to, you know, follow your footsteps, that kind of thing. And so then all I could get out was, what is your most gnarliest
punk rock story or something like that?
And it was like, I was like, you're in front of Bob
That was
Gruen.
question 1.
That was question 1. I think, and then I had a follow-up question. And afterwards, the guy already took the mic away from me. And I'm just screaming at him. And he, like, humbled, and, you know, which was, you know, like, do you actually become friends with the band? And he said yes, you know, naturally, and it impacts his photos, which I feel that's, it definitely comes
totally
across.
relatable to you.
Yeah.
Like, how many bands have you become friends with?
Yeah.
Just from
Like I always say, I'm not cool. I just have friends that are cool. Anyways, and then I had another follow-up question, which I wanted to ask him specifically to analog film. And I went chasing for the microphone.
You really did.
I really
and we
did.
were laughing our asses off. There she goes! Oh, shit.
I think I asked him 3 questions at the same time, but I was the only person to
Ma'am, we're going to need the mic back. Let other people ask him questions, ma'am.
Could you imagine if I actually had prepared, if I knew he was going to be there, what it was going to be
you had
like?
a whole freaking list.
Yeah.
Question number 1 of 15.
1A. No, it was great. And one of the things I was really proud about was just, thanking him for his photographic contribution. So, and of course.
And then everybody applauded when you said it. They were like, yeah.
I'm all, yeah. That's what I said.
I've done this before. I know what to ask.
I really held back from listen more to these kind of interviews at SoundSisters.com.
You should
You
have.
should have. You should have.
Anyways, but no, I'm still on a high about it. And then, of course, Henry Rollins, I'm going to let you guys get into that a little bit first before I add to it, because I can only imagine it was inspiring from my seat. I can only imagine what it was like as a musician. So let's hear it. What was it like for you guys?
That was awesome.
I mean, I fucking love Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
I could listen to him talk, and I've said that before on this podcast. He's one of my favorite podcasters, spoken word artist. Just the way he tells a story. So I've seen him before. So this was my second time, and it was different from the first time, which I greatly appreciated. I was like, is he going to tell the same stories? He didn't. He kept it, very authentic. What he spoke about him and Ian, starting the whole just scene there in their town, and the whole message of his speech was, this scene is ours, and we need to hold on to it. We need to protect it. We need, if without us, there is no scene. So take pride in your scene and just respect it, and don't be a fucking dickhead at shows and just the history of what he spoke about, how he joined Black Flag.
What did he always say? This is ours.
This is ours, and
this is ours to lose. That's what he kept saying.
And he's right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I loved how he also talked about how he was starving, and then there's other times he got money, like I've talked about in the past. But like myself, he will always do shit for free, and he did shit for free that night.
Yeah.
And he inspired so many.
It was sold out too.
It was sold out. It sold out of a free and it was insane to be sitting and calm amongst all these punk rockers. It was such a weird and amazing energy that cannot be captured.
No,
it was great.
Everyone was just sitting down. It was so mellow, and I just loved how he kept saying, and I agree with him, no matter what happens, I will always do art and photos for free. Not saying that sometimes you got to get paid so you can keep doing your art.
Yeah.
But at the other end of the coin, you still got to help each other out.
Yeah. That's kind of like what both of the speakers said, too. I mean, Bob Gruen's work, he's like, I've worked for free, and I've taken jobs that I don't necessarily want to do just to, make my rent. So, sometimes you gotta take those jobs you don't necessally want. Of course. You gotta make your money,
So you can do the things you love to do, which I know all of us do, especially this one over here, Gabby. Yeah. She, So what was your takeaway listening to Henry Rollins?
It's just it's inspiring. There's too much. I don't remember much of it anymore, but I know it was so good.
Because it was so moving. Yeah, it's kind of out of body almost. Because I'm like, is this really happening? Is he saying this? I just wanted to go out and fuck shit up after that in the best artistic way possible.
That's good though. It's inspiring. You heard the message,
right?
And we should all do it.
Now's the time. Now's the time. And hopefully we're a little, we always say, a little bit piece in that puzzle to help bridge all of the scene together. I mean, we all do it together collectively. Because it's not singly anyone's. It's all of ours together.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Gabby, you have anything for Roundtable?
No, I was with you guys the whole weekend. So.
It was pretty great. Really. I thought it was awesome. Just having, it's been a while since we've had a hang sesh outside of recording.
Nope. Yeah, it was nice. So. I just want to update all the listeners about my health stuff. I saw Dr. Starr on Wednesday, and just to let you guys know, I'm down 43 pounds. Woo! I officially surpassed my goal weight, which was you know, I was being realistic about my number, but I passed the
so
number.
amazing.
So Friday, the ladies and I had In-N-Out Burger.
It's delicious.
And it was great.
With no bread, though.
No bread, protein style, grilled
But you
onions.
had some fries that you earned.
I fucking ate the fuck out of those fries too,
So
man.
good.
So good, dude.
And then my dog ate. the
Oh
other
man,
burger.
I felt bad. I was like, fuck.
Wait, your dog ate whose burger? See, I still don't know the burger story. And I was like, do I need to get on my burger?
We got an extra burger because if I'm going out, my dude's not going to cook food. He's just going to eat candy. So I'm like, Drake, can you get an extra burger?
Yeah.
So I was showing Corey the house, and I forgot about the burger or the dog. And when we came back, the dog ate the burger.
Was it blue or pickles?
Oh, blue. He
It was
reached to
blue.
the table and ate most of it.
Tell the listeners what kind of dog Blue and Pickles
Blue
are.
is a massive, huge Great Dane. He's only 9 months, and Pickles is a boxer.
Nerd love.
And,
And they
they're
have an
best friends.
they have an Instagram account.
They do. It's Blue and Pickles or Blue and
Blue and
Pickle,
Pickles.
Pickles. Some, I don't know. Just
Yeah. Andrea's kitty meow meow has one.
The great and powerful Ozzy on
Hey.
Instagram. Follow my son. Make us, famous.
And
I don't
you
to
have
work
one
anymore.
too.
Yes,
All
and
our
of
pets
course,
have Instagram.
yes, our pets have Instagram. Yes, Barnabas Batsy has his own Instagram account. Him and the powerful Ozzy were talking the other day through posts. Couple meows and barks at each other, but they're buddies.
We're dorks. I left a meow on Barnabas picture. I'm like meow as Ozzy.
and I replied, bark, ruff ruff,
What'd you reply? Ruff
ruff ruff with an emoji.
Fucking dorks.
This is what we do in our
man.
cubicle jobs.
But I wanted you to see that Ozzy had added Barnabas.
I
And,
loved
hey,
it.
let's be
I loved
friends.
it. He got so excited. Anyway.
All right, let's move into the Punk Rock Nukes segment here on the Sound Sister podcast. Up first, we've got Ministry. We're tired of it. They've come out with a new music video, a recent track off of their album titled We're Tired of It. It's off of Americant with KKK in it. Album released on Nuclear Blast Records, so go ahead and go out to YouTube and check that out. 88 Fingers Louie and Decent Criminal have announced some West Coast shows that are scheduled for January. The band last released Get Off of My Lawn 7-inch in 2017. So make sure you go out and support. CJ Ramone to release Christmas Lullaby on a 7-inch.
Nice. I bet you it'll be better than William Shatner's Jingle Bells.
Right, we're getting closer to the holidays here.
Yeah.
We've got Thanksgiving a few weeks away, so we've got some artists that are releasing Christmas stuff. So I figured I'd plug CJ Ramone. This one's coming off of Fat Records. It's going to include an original song as well as a cover of Father Christmas by the Kinks. Could be
That's
cool.
badass, yeah.
Look out for that on December 7th. And pick it up and support one of the last Ramones. Which, by the way, we could have toured with him, but I won't get into it.
Oh, man.
All right. We do have some new music for you guys. The Casualty album came out October 26th off Cleopatra Records.
Again.
Written in Blood, recorded at the Blasting Room in Colorado with Bill Stevenson of The Descendants
Right.
and Black Flag. We're going to play some new music off of that album. I've been listening to it in the gym,
Just pumps you, man.
and it gets you going. Gets
It's
your heart rate
insane.
up.
It totally kicks. Like, I just recently got a new ride, and so for the first time ever, I'm able to plug music in
Yeah.
the car, because I feel like that's been a big disconnect. Not that that's the only time I listen to music, but I mean, I do so much that I spend a lot of my time en route.
Yeah.
And so, dude, that looping through the stereo, fuck, I had to watch my speed. I was like, fuck, I'm doing 90.
Slow down.
No, it just like got my blood,
Your
boil,
butt?
my butt,
Butt going.
no, my blood going, and I wanted to fuck shit up in the best way possible.
Yeah, well,
So
you know,
good.
that first track they came out with, the 1312, it was the taste of it. And I remember telling you guys, I was like, I really have high hopes for this. I really hope it's good.
Didn't
And
we play that one on the podcast?
We talked about it,
Oh,
but
okay.
I think we ended up playing.
Something
we played
else.
Shatner Claus.
Which BTW, I'm loving the Spotify playlist that you put together, Sound Sister playlist.
yeah.
Not if you guys haven't got a chance to listen to it, you should. But every time I'm jamming out to it in shuffle, and then bam, it's all like jingle bells. It's all
Jingle bells.
jingle bells. It's like, I love you, Henry.
Dude, and okay, go back into the other night with Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
When you were like, "Are you gonna ask a question?" And I was like, "I'm asking about fucking Shatner claws."
Dude. And you know what? Rico reminded me, he played this random freaking part in Jack Frost. Like this.
Oh, worst movie ever.
Yeah.
No, I have to go back. They play it on like Channel 39, I think, during Christmas. Or
Gotta
whatever.
watch
I gotta
it.
watch it now.
Get your Rollins on. He plays a really funny character, though.
Well, he had said that night too. He came out in some movie about the gates of hell or something like that with Cuba, and he was like, "No, don't watch it."
So great. Yeah, he was just like an insane speaker. It was great when he also just talked about when people around and art things get better, when like, just how he's talking about how when you surround yourself with art and music, just things generally get better. Yeah. And I loved hearing about like his Bowie stories, how like Bowie didn't talk himself up. He was talking about all these unnamed artists.
Other shit he was into.
Yeah, and that kind of checked me too, because, you try to get out there and you're always networking and you're like, but I get a high off of all these interviews that we just try to promote other people and just create that circle.
Yeah.
So it was cool to hear about. Even fucking Bowie. Yeah. That's right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, my Bowie. Telling you.
Yeah, no, but this Casualty album, make sure you guys pick it up. It's on vinyl, CD. You can listen to it on Spotify. Highly recommend it. David, you did an amazing job filling the big shoes that you had to do. Honestly, I feel this has just skyrocketed the band to a different level, which, new singers, they make or break you.
Yeah.
You could get a new singer and it could just completely destroy or recreate the band in sometimes not a great light. And this works. I'm stoked on it. But you know what? They were here the other night in town and I fucking forgot about it. And
it was a weird metal show.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I saw that. It was a different lineup. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it was like some metal tour they jumped on, but the next day people were like, "Oh, the Casualties played last night." I'm like, "What?"
I thought it was a joke. I didn't really think it was real, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's Blue and Pickles for those of you guys want to hear.
All right, so here it is. This one is one of my favorite tracks off the album. It's called Ashes of My Enemies. This is the Casualties right here on the Sound Sister Podcast.
Ringing in the screen out loud. I've been fucking
by my enemies, by the casualties. Like I said, pick it up. It's a great album.
It kicks.
We're fans of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as we had talked about earlier, we're focusing this episode today on Small Business Saturday. So for those of you that don't know, Small Business Saturday is nationally a United States holiday, not a holiday, a shopping event pretty much that happens the day after Black Friday and hopes to encourage people to shop local. So I'm sure all of you guys have heard about the insanity that is Black Friday, with tons of injuries, deaths, big company workers making people work on.
It's fucking stupid.
It's crazy, right? It's all about greed and gimme, gimme, gimme. I mean, I'm not saying give me some more. I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't partaken. I think all of us have, but at the same time, there's other ways that we can, think creatively to help support people when it comes to our shopping needs. So a couple statistics. So this year, Small Business Friday will be observed on November 24th. And it was first observed in 2010. So it's actually kind of a fairly new idea. So it is the counterpart to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and big box retail and e-commerce sales. So a couple of different facts about it is a large part of the money spent stays local when you shop local. So you're not only helping other people directly, like the small business owners, you're helping them and their families be able to, support their livelihood. It's also supporting you and the community as well. So because of the dollars that are spent in small business may help fund local schools, pave roads, protect community, just to name a few, and provide for more local jobs. So according to Civic Economics, $68 of every 100 spent within the community with local business, whereas a chain store contributes $43 out of that $100. So online's, excluding, of course, local businesses that have online presence, they get $0. So when you're going to like Amazon and that kind of thing, it's really not contributing to anything. So, and when you do shop local, of course, it provides more opportunities to buy unique, eclectic, one-of-a-kind products that are personalized. Plus, it's better for the environment in general. So if you can't make it out, you can always try to hop online and see if they have an online presence. Or sometimes you can call. Like I called Rocket A Go-Go, which is one of our locally owned Arizona businesses that is successful. They shared some really cute shoes on Instagram, and because they're a buy, share, trade type of a company, they don't necessarily, they have an Etsy account, but they don't have all their merchandise online. But I called them up and said, hey, can you hold these for me? And they did.
Really?
It's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's other ways that you can do to support. So, but of course, we're talking to two badass business babes today. But in addition to them, some of our local faves, Sound Sister local faves in Arizona, that have a lot of local online websites that you can buy some of their products from is Rocket A Go-Go, like I said, right next to Yucca Tap. Name Brand Exchange is another one. So it's a great way to buy, sell, trade spot. Arcane Hair Parlor, which is a gothic punk rock salon that I've done photo shoots in the past. Erica, she's has run that business for a couple years now, and she's amazing. So they're definitely a go-to place for me. Shirts and Things. Been going there since I was wee, Angela. How about you, Drea?
Probably since like 13, 14.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys too. Like,
yeah. I was hiding those dog collars in my lunchbox purse, from my mom. Yep, that's a true story. So, and all those like comic book geeks out there, Ash Avenue Comics, Greg Comics, Gotham City Comics. My buddy Miguel owns that place. It's a rad spot. Bookman's. Changing Hand bookstores. And then as far as record shops, we got Double Nickels Collective and Zia Records. I mean, there's many locations, and I know it's a go-to, but they have lots of stuff outside of regular records and stuff you can shop. So it's a great place. More nationally, though, we have Etsy. So when you shop on Etsy, you're supporting different artists, designers of all mediums from all over the world. Punk rock, pinup girl clothing, Sour Puss clothing, Too Fast, Lucky 13, all places that are independently owned that you can shop for your punk rock, gothic, ska, whatever it is that you're doing with your threads.
This coffee mug is from Sourpuss.
There you go. It's an awesome Black Flag coffee mug.
Thank you, Drea. You got it for my birthday.
So another idea, if you want to get a fur friend, maybe rescue a dog through the Arizona Humane Society, that's another option instead of going to an actual, mall and picking up a pup or a kitty. Let's try to rescue. And then if you want something more customized, maybe talk and hit up those artists that we featured on here before, such as Jared Gaines, Brian Burtz, Nads, just to name a few. And then, of course,
the doctors.
Yes, the doctors too. You wanna go
everybody's primary care.
Yeah, if you want to be healthy for the holiday season. But of course, you can go to your favorite local bands, social media pages, or your favorite DIY national acts, because you could buy their merch, concert tickets, whatever, because you're directly supporting people that are, trying to express themselves. And because at Sound Sisters, we represent there's no greater gift than the gift of art or music. So, all in all, if in closing, before we talk to our amazing business owners, if you have to shop at the big stores, we get it. We're not going to hate you forever, as Dre would say.
You do you, boo.
That's right. So just think of different ways that maybe in the future you can support local, and what you're ultimately doing when you do purchase something local is you're directly impacting, again, not only the business owner and their families, but the community as well. But just maybe think about on Black Friday, if you have to go to Target and get that flat screen TV, we get it. But maybe try going to your favorite mom and pop shop to pick up some coffee or some breakfast. So that's a way you can support. So we also want to see some of your favorite Arizona local spots, or even across. We know we have listeners all over. So please, please, please visit our website with this episode, comment on your favorite local spots, or tag us through your social media pages on Instagram or Facebook. So without further ado, we have in the Sound Sister studio in Mesa, Arizona. We have Miss Colleen and Kat with us. Let's give it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be here.
Yes, we're stoked to have you guys. So again, you guys are badass business ladies. So let's first off and explain to our listeners what your business is, how long you've been there, just give us the lowdown. Start out with Colleen over here.
All right, this is Colleen. I own Siphon Apothecary. It's located at the Goldfield Ghost Town just outside of Apache Junction. I've been there for 4 years. And I make all kinds of skincare products. So it's like the ultimate do-it-yourself skincare business that I created. Nice. And I don't even know how that happened. But I do. Like, my whole life led up to this. I've got experience from, like, you're talking about being an entrepreneur and helping people out. My first entrepreneurial experience I had was when I was about 5. I was coloring in my coloring book, and my mother said, hey, you could be an artist. I'm like, well, what's that? She's like, you can get paid for coloring and drawing. I was like, what? So I ripped out the coloring book pages and started going door to door, and that's when it started. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
I straight up have a similar story. Up north, Heber, the weird place that you think I was abducted. Yeah, sorry, that's another episode. No, I used to, the Circle K, there was like right there, walking distance. I took pine cones, put glitter on them, put a little tag so they were ornaments. So I could get money for candy because my mom wouldn't let me have any more.
Oh.
See?
Okay.
We're connected.
We're
connected.
We've got that entrepreneurial brain connection.
Wow. That's amazing.
But from there, I done all kinds of artistic work and have been selling my art my whole life. And then I got into the beauty industry for about 20 years, then the medical field, and all of the education I've had, it came out as me creating non-toxic, organic skincare out of like the best ingredients that you can imagine. I use food. I'm a holistic nutritionist too, so I started creating my skincare out of my kitchen, and I'm really picky about what I eat. So your skincare, I mean, this is a long conversation. I won't go any further with that.
Maybe you can give us some recommendations later on the episode as far as different skincare products. That's great. Yeah. Awesome. What about you, Kat?
I have the Superstitious Jackalope, and it's actually, like Colleen, it's a reference to the Superstition Mountains, which is a huge, for the people who are listening and don't know, it's a huge mountain range here in Arizona. And it's been the business started out as something else and it's kind of like morphed into what it is now. And I make electroformed jewelry out of copper and various stones. And I also do decorative taxidermy.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of started out of necessity because I did hair for many years, and I was diagnosed with Still's disease, which is a really rare arthritic disorder. So I could no longer do hair. So I make jewelry instead because it's something that I can do with my hands, but I can do it on good days, and then bad days I don't really, I don't have to worry about, oh man, I can't make it to my job because my joints are swollen or, whatever. So it actually started to help me pay for medication because I take a daily shot that is without insurance. I have wonderful insurance, but without insurance, it is $143 a shot, which is a day, every day. Wow. So, like I said, I have great insurance, so I wind up paying about $100 a month, but it helps offset the cost because I have kids and everything else. So,
And her jewelry is beautiful. I'm wearing a necklace right now.
She's got great pieces. And I love your taxidermy artwork, too.
Thank you.
Great.
My taxidermy I usually sell locally versus sending it through the mail. Because there are a lot of states that have different laws against sending dead animals through the mail.
Weird.
So I usually do that locally. Like you were saying before, people can contact me through Etsy or through the social media. And I'm willing to meet up with people and sell it to them, or I sell it to them at various places that I vend here in the Valley. So
great, awesome. So you guys both, this is your main gig. You don't have any other side gigs at all.
Well, I do. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I do consultations as well.
Oh, great. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it all goes together. I help you heal externally and internally using good skincare and good nutrition because your skin is a reflection of your internal health.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's great.
Thanks.
Pun intended. All right.
Inside out.
So I love that. So have you always been, I know you said you did stuff out of your home first before you went to Goldfield.
Yeah. Goldfield Ghost Town.
Ghost Town, yeah. Mm-hmm. And which is a great spot. Love it.
Is.
It's so much fun.
Yep.
So, Gabby.
Yeah, have you seen any ghosts?
What's
your ghost story?
I have
that is a secondary conversation
What's
on our podcast.
I'm all
here.
about it.
Is it haunted?
I have a connection with the other side at times, and absolutely, there's nobody evil there that I've come across.
Okay.
There's a lot of maybe crazy spirits. They're kind of troublemakers or silly, and they like to be fun and play tricks on people.
Move stuff on you.
Huh?
Do they move stuff on you?
The lights go on and off.
Oh,
stuff
man.
gets moved. Yeah, weird
Little
stuff
trickster
happens.
stuff.
Yeah, like just the other day, a phone flew off the wall, and
What?
I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to get some work done around here. Either help or get out.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's some stuff.
What?
But, yeah.
Ghost Town, the usual. It's just the usual.
Wow.
No, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of history there. And I know that the man who owns it right now, when he was, which there's
is
a
my
connection
husband's
there
uncle.
too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And who's your husband again?
Uncle Josh, his name is Josh, but his tattoo name, sorry guys, not a creep, he's not my uncle. Oh, I'm so used to it. Anyway,
That kind of
his name is Joshua Gargalione, but in the tattoo community, he's known as Uncle Josh. He owns Lost Dutchman Tattoo.
Which is another great idea.
Yes.
Shop local.
Oh, he does do a special during, it's starting a small business Saturday for gift certificates.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See?
And we've worked with Uncle Josh. He's drone.
He's drone.
He's drone stuff. On that note,
He's all right at drawing things,
You can
draw.
You can't make this shit up, guys.
So Josh's uncle is the mayor
What?
of Goldfield.
Uncle Josh's uncle.
Uncle Josh's uncle, his Uncle Bob, is the mayor of Goldfield Ghost Town. And Josh and his cousins and his brother and his dad and his mom and stuff actually helped rebuild Goldfield when Josh was a kid.
That's
So
amazing.
connection there.
And that's a huge place too, because there are all those little shops in there. They're independently owned, I
Yes.
assume, right?
Yes.
So is there any some of your favorite spots in that? Both of you.
Sure, there's a couple places. Well, the whole town is pretty rad. Like if you
Yeah,
want
it's
to go
pretty
check it
awesome.
out, spend the day there. There's tours, but the merchants they
Sound Sister little trips. Right?
Yeah, I know. It's really rad.
the merchants there, a lot of them are doing work, like creating things right there. There's a local artist, they're making fudge there, there's jewelry, there's a new jewelry shop under the ice cream shop that makes all their own goods in there. I'm trying to think who else does their own thing, but there's a gold panning store. You can go in there and look for gold. That's fun with the kids. But it's definitely a DIY town. And I on Small Business Saturdays, the day that this is airing, I'm actually doing a do-it-yourself, make your own bath bomb class.
Oh,
so if you want to come in before I open, I'm doing a class, and it'll be all over my website. I'll give you the link.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
And do you have anything coming on?
I do. I have various different coupons and sales that are going on that will be posted onto my Instagram. So, and all of my social media. So they'll be different, depending on like how much you spend and how much you buy and everything. There's different coupons for different amounts and stuff that will have coupon codes on there.
And you both have an online presence, so people, because we do have
Yes.
listeners outside of Arizona, so they can still come and shop local that way.
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, website.
That's great. So you two know each other.
We do.
From Derby. Let's hear some Derby tales.
Yeah. So, no, we've actually known each other. It's weird because we found out that we know all the same people. And I grew up in the punk scene in Arizona, so I know a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life who were in the punk scene. And one of the girls on my team, were you already a ref when I came? Or I think you were on, no, I think you were on the beauty still.
Yeah, that minute.
For like a minute,
Yeah.
for like a hot minute, and
Yeah.
then you became a ref. But one of my teammates named Ginger, who I know you've worked with, Angela,
Yes. If We Can Sparkle, another
Yes.
independently owned business.
Yes.
Exactly. She's great too. She's like, I have this friend that you have to meet. And I think a lot of our friends tried to like friend set us up for a long time.
Oh, I love it.
Because we have a lot in common, and we do both have the reach to the other side a little bit, where we get visitors and stuff. So so we had that connection, and then just we know all the same people, and like I don't know, I just feel like I've known her for years, and we've been around each other's family for years now, and stuff like that. But yeah, it all started with roller derby, and yeah.
It's crazy because a lot of my favorite people are roller derby babes, and I've never been in roller derby.
Erica, who owns Arcane Hair Parlor, is on my team as well.
Great.
And
well, and Kat over here, I didn't know her, but through Ginger, I asked her to be a model, and it was for an art show piece that I did for the Punk 4 fundraiser. So that was great. It was kind of like, hi, how are you? I've kind of seen you in social media.
That
Let's
was
take a
Ginger.
photo. Like,
Ginger's like, hey, I have a friend, and she had someone back out last minute because they had an emergency or something. Can you do this? And I'm like, when and where? And she's like, and it was like the next day or something. I'm all, okay.
And she was down, and it was she saved my ass and then some. But we'll include that photo in the photo gallery so you guys can see. But it was really great, just also on a side note that you are a plus size model.
Yeah.
And you actively work in that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting. I have lost a little bit of weight, but I used to be a little bit bigger, and it's interesting to see what people think they can get away saying to you online because it's online.
Right.
So I used it as a teachable moment for my daughter. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she would overhear me saying, so and so online said this about me, and I would be talking to my husband, and she would ask, my daughter would be like, do you get upset about that? And I'm like, well, I get upset about it for like a second, and then you have to understand where it's coming from. Like, that's a mean, hateful place that's coming from. Like, that's like, is what that person said about me true? And she's like, well, no. And I said, then it doesn't matter. If that's the only thing I can teach you growing up, like, what your opinion of yourself is means way more than other people's opinion of you. And that's kind of what I learned through that whole experience, because at first it was a lot of, you know, I am real awkward. For anyone who knows me personally, I am real awkward. So it was really hard at first, being awkward and being a little more shy, although that's not what people would think of me, to like put myself out there. But and at first it was really challenging, and it did really hurt, some of the mean, hurtful things that people were saying. But I have amazing friends who always support me, and
I'll
always
headlock anybody.
exactly, and they always all of our whole group of friends and Derby actually helped with this too. Just helped me so much with my self-esteem, and helped me like, again, realize that my opinion of myself is worth more than anybody else's opinion.
It's true.
Even though that sounds like really kind of conceited to say, but
No.
I feel like it's
Self-love.
It's really the truth. Yeah.
It's self-love, and that's what we try to promote. But it's interesting because, what do you think of the whole title plus size model? Because even though I know that you said since I've seen you've lost weight, but
I mean,
I've
plus
always
radness, I guess.
right. That's what. But I never saw it as a plus size model, but it was introduced to me that
Well,
that's
I'm
what
a size
the label
14,
was. So
and
I guess
I'm considered
technically-
plus size, and I think that's really dumb.
I do too. That's why I feel weird saying that to people.
And
but-
I don't understand why the addition of plus needs to be
Right,
on there, because you know, we don't section out people by like what type of, like,
Exactly.
you don't look at someone on like Sports Illustrated and be like, oh, that's a black model, or oh, that's a, you know, that's a blonde model, or, you know, like, you don't put a label in front of every other model. So why do you have why do you have to put that label in front of someone? Like, I know I'm not like a quote unquote normal model size. Like, I don't need to be reminded of that every day. Like, I'm comfortable in my body, and I know what my body is, and I'm not gonna, I don't know. It's I feel like when you say plus size model, it puts bad connotations on it, and that's not what it is. And the plus size thing is stupid anyway.
It's dumb. No, I agree. I was introduced that that's the type of model that you were, and I honestly, it's like they redid the body types of Barbie, and they have different names now. Have you guys seen that? Like, now they have.
I saw that they redid the bodies, but I didn't know they like gave them different names.
Yeah, like they have like a more hip. They have a curvy Barbie now, and they have. But they were very cautious of the name and labeling. So, and I agree with that, because I agree 110%, because I am a bigger, curvier person, and so and the whole plus size thing.
I grew up thinking my body was wrong,
right?
And I was always very heavy set. Had very curly hair growing up, freckles, all that stuff. Like I said, super awkward. And so me doing all this stuff, and the tattoos helped, because that was what I started as. It's like, oh, I'm a tattoo model, so people aren't looking at me; they're looking at my tattoos. So that's kind of like that's how I eased into it.
Me too.
But I think it's really important to teach everyone to just be happy with your body. If you're not happy with your body, then you change it. But don't let other people tell you not to be happy with yourself, or not to be happy with your body.
I like it.
But I'm glad that I saw that they changed Barbies, and that did make me happy, because, like I said, I have a daughter and stuff, but I didn't realize that they named the different body types. Can't it just be Barbie?
Right, and that's true. I think they just needed to but then again, it's categorizing things, so it's weird with the label, but.
Well, we kind of asked, like, what are some crazy roller derby stories? Let's hear
yeah.
about, like,
She has done some way crazier stuff than I have. You've been to like RollerCon and stuff. I've never been to RollerCon. RollerCon is where the stuff goes
what
down.
What are we allowed to say?
You can say anything.
It's open.
Yeah, that's what
it's
they
up
do.
to you guys.
All right,
Your
well,
discretion.
all right, let me
Should we protect the innocent and change the
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, now I don't think about the dirt. I let that stuff settle.
We bury it deep down.
I started with the Arizona Derby Dames when their first tryouts. It was 2005, I think. And then I'm still involved as a ref. I was a coffin dragger. For a few years, I was a captain, co-captain. I've been a trainer. I've been on the hot shots. I've been on the Hot Shots before they were called the Hot Shots. I've been
She's done
manager.
everything in Derby.
I've done a bunch of stuff in the league. Here's a dirt story. I'm trying to think. So when I was the captain of the Coffin Draggers, I will say this, sorry guys, but I think that we had the rowdiest, craziest, awesomest, most fun parties or fundraisers they were supposed to be ever. And we got in trouble because there were things happening that shouldn't have been happening. Because the first
we still get trouble.
Yeah, the first few years of Derby, there were sparks in the locker room. Sparks as in alcoholic beverages, and people were like getting drunk. And it was and the girls, because a lot of the girls that were playing had never played sports before, and we were having a good time hanging out together, beating each other up. But it started to get really competitive. People were playing really hard. And when you're partying the night before and then drinking in the locker room, you feel like you're going to die when you're skating. And,
can confirm.
Yeah. So one of the last fundraiser parties where we were really going overboard, we got in trouble. We weren't the only team doing certain things. I'm not going to mention those things. But we got in trouble, and
Wait,
I was
in trouble by who? Is there like a roller derby board, like a president, like
I don't
that
know.
kind of trouble?
Our
or...
league we have like a president, and then we have like management that we have to like answer to. We do have a code of conduct and stuff that we have to
Okay.
Yeah, and
go by.
the titles have changed throughout the years,
Yeah.
but the powers that be at that time were told, hey, they were doing this at that party, and I was told, hey, your team better quit doing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe you might want to look at the other teams too, but we're going to stop. And that's when, things changed. But, there were IV bags laying around and bottles of alcohol everywhere. And,
we like to party.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was started probably at 7 at night and ended the next day at 7 at night or something.
I've definitely had coffin dragger parties at my house where my poor husband had to fish things out of the pool.
Yeah.
We got the cops called on us several times.
Yeah. You know how to handle the cops at a party, though, right?
Let's hear this.
We'll be quiet.
You just thank them for showing up. Thank you. I really needed your help. I couldn't get these people out of here. Typically by that time, you want everybody to leave.
Yeah.
So
we did it, but
nobody gets in trouble. But
no, the worst was clear cups at the bottom of the pool that he had to fish
God.
out. Okay. So I have a crazy derby story. I guess I started out with Arizona roller derby. And when I was like baby 18, actually I lied about my age to play with them. I was 17, but like 2 months away from turning 18, so it wasn't terrible. But my first time ever away from my parents, ever, like traveling out of state without my parents, was on a Greyhound bus that we chartered with a bunch of derby girls. Oh God,
I know.
I don't want to get people in trouble.
Right.
Damn. So anyway, again, I was all of 18 years old. Everyone was like drinking and partying on the bus, and I grew up in the punk scene, so I'm like, yeah, I know about partying. I did not know about partying as well as I thought I did. We went and played at the Tava Mountain Games, which I believe is in Utah, I think. I don't know. We had to go through Utah at one point though, because I remember like everyone like warning us like we're in Mormon country and stuff like that. And we're like. So, like, don't freak people out. I'm like, okay. Our bus, for whatever reason, the air conditioning didn't work, so we just started stripping off clothes. No one cares. We're all girls, whatever. Well, then we have to stop at a gas station, which we had to stop at this gas station because the name of the gas station was Gay Johnson's in Utah. And it was right next to a place, no word of a lie, right next to a place called Shitty's Garage. I have no idea how they got that okayed by the city, but it said Shitty's Garage. So we go in there, and there's this kid who looks like he's probably all of 18 years old too, and completely like taken aback because he's like, "What the hell is going on?" I had like
naked, dirty
I
chicks.
had like a seriously, that's what happened. So like I had like a patch quilt skirt on that I had made when I was like 14, and then like out of
Nothing
my
else.
friend's clothes, which is weird. Different story. And then I had like a bra on, and then I had like my punk rock leather jacket with all the studs and everything all over it.
Is that the
And-
same one that you used in the photo shoot?
No, that's my vest, which I've also had since 15.
Nice,
But
nice.
no, it was my leather jacket because that's like the only time in my life I've been able to wear it because, you know, Arizona. And we're just like buying our stuff like it's normal. And this poor kid is just like, you know, the people who can't hide their facial expressions.
Yeah.
This poor kid, like mouth gaping open, just like checking us out, like could not like checking us out as far as like ringing us up. But I think he was just like,
What is this?
had probably lived a really sheltered life, and this
Oh
was
my.
probably really like,
Shocking.
yeah.
So
I think
you
we
freaked
like,
them out.
yeah, and I think we got like banned from Greyhound or something because of our ride on the bus. Like we rode there and then we rode back. Like, oh no, we got in so much trouble. I met Digital Underground, which was rad, because they were playing the Tava Mountain games too. And they were staying at the hotel that all the Derby girls were staying at. So we all hopped the fence. It's snowing outside. So we all hopped the fence to like, it was really disgusting. It was like disgusting Derby girl soup. Because it was after we all skated and we all jumped in the hot tub. So there's like 20 of us in this hot tub. Real gross. Things were going on in the pool with members of the band. And long story short, we broke a lot of glass bottles around the pool. It was unintentional. There was lots of alcohol involved. And we all got a phone call at 6 a.m. in the morning from one of the other girls who was like the one who was like quote unquote in charge of the trip. And it was like, everybody needs to leave now. They've called the cops on us.
Oh shit.
So there was like girls from the local, it was in Colorado because it was girls from the local roller derby. One of them got really drunk and punched out a mirror in the hotel. Like, what? I was like, oh my God, is this what roller derby is? I mean, obviously I was cool with it. I'm 33 and I'm still doing it, but it's...
Right.
That was the first of the crazy stories. That's not even the craziest. That's just the one I know I won't get in trouble for telling.
Right.
And this is a disclaimer. This was before you were a mother. We don't want to hear any sort of crazy comments. This was before.
Oh, nah, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it is what it is. I mean, my kids are always taken care of. They don't get to see... I mean, they see coffin dragger stuff, which freaks other people out because...
But it's normal.
Yeah, well, no, because so the coffin draggers, we cover ourselves in blood, which is great when you play roller derby because your makeup gets messed up and you're like, I'm just gonna put more blood on that. That's cool.
Maybe you guys should do that at a show.
Yeah, just fake blood everywhere.
Because you say like you're always melting afterwards.
Yeah, it smells.
There's one girl on our team who someone kept telling her to smile one time or whatever, so she like bit a blood capsule and was like, with all the blood dripping out of her mouth, so that was pretty awesome. But my kids aren't creeped out by like death or zombies or blood or whatever. Like I have pictures of me holding both of my babies with like a white out contact and a red contact and blood all over my face and like so my skate name is Devotchka DeLarge. It's a Clockwork Orange reference, so I usually have like one eye that's my eyelashes and all that stuff, so it's and then just blood everywhere because fake blood's the best.
It is the best.
Do you guys feel now that roller derby's kind of quote calmed down, or is it still?
Oh, it's calmed down.
Oh yeah.
Is that because the games are not the Coliseum?
Are
they still
the
considered moves?
competition is
Okay.
much more. It's much more competitive now.
okay.
The girl, when we first started, we couldn't skate. We sucked. So we would roll
It was very
around, get
WWE.
dressed up, and all that, and then party all the time. But then as it got more competitive, everybody was training more. Everybody was competing at a higher level. So I mean, of course, the girls can still throw down in the bar, get on top of it, and dance and have a drink and have a great
And we
time.
occasionally fight each other. Not on the track, but we do occasionally fight each other.
But yeah, it's not like it was.
It's going more towards the direction of they're trying to make it an Olympic sport. So it's gone more of the route. Before there was some athleticism involved, but it was mainly show, and over the years of being in Derby, I've watched it evolve to being a lot more athletic and a lot more competitive than it once was.
It's true, because like I've even seen like some of my friends, like as they progressed, I'm like, damn, you're fucking buff now.
Yeah.
Like Ginger, like I mean, I was like, dude, I'm like, that's a good friend to have your back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you know, like I've noticed just the change, because I bartended at the Palo Verde for 7 years, so that was
so
spot.
much fun.
That was the spot where everyone,
Yeah.
I probably have gotten you guys wasted and
Actually,
yeah.
Coffin Draggers had a fundraiser there. And
I helped organize.
okay,
with
I was
Erica,
one of the bartenders.
So we bartended together. 'Cause
Okay,
I was there.
all right. Okay, it was me,
Because
Erica,
our other
and
bartenders
Ginger.
like may have had some breeze. 'Cause other people working. I'm just kidding.
No, that was a really fun event.
Yeah. So I do remember that now. Interesting.
Yeah, the roller derby girls nowadays, like the competition, these girls are athletes. They are full blown athletes. They're training
like
hard.
CrossFit.
Yeah, they're hardcore. It's for real. It's the real deal. They're just not getting paid, which I don't know if the entire derby community, like if you took a vote, how many people would want it to go professional and how many people would not. But I think there's room for both. There's room for the DIY,
Agreed.
have fun, recreational type stuff, just like with baseball or softball, and then professional too.
What about other leagues? Like, are you guys kind of feel that the like Derby Dames, and then there's a couple other ones?
Yeah.
Do you guys
So
support them?
Yeah.
Or,
We support all
absolutely.
our. It wasn't once like that in the Valley. There was once because the reason why there are a few different leagues in Phoenix is because there were league splits and stuff like that. So, and this was like when I first started Derby years and years ago. That there were bad blood. There was, people showing up to other leagues events and flyering with our flyers or, whatever. It was really bad for a long time, but I think with the direction Derby has moved into, everyone has kind of looked at it differently. And there are a few flat track leagues here in Phoenix. We're the only bank track league, so that does make us a little different.
What's the difference between the two for
So,
those that don't know?
We skate on a bank track, which is a big oval, and it's like at a 45-degree angle. It's kind of like a racetrack, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like old school what people would think of as an old school roller derby. You see that bank track made out of the wood with the rails.
Yeah.
Flat track is literally on the ground, and the way they mark it is with tape sometimes or little light strands. There's a variety of ways.
But it's crazy to see the athleticism in the two different leagues, or the two different types of derby, bank track and flat track. And it's crazy to see. I'm really impressed when I can see skaters that can do both, because I know I came from flat track and went to bank track, and I cried for like a month. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. Like, it hurt my body so much because it's a completely different set of muscles to do the bank track than it is to do the flat track. And like my only experience with anything sort of banked was, skateboarding as a kid at skate parks and shit. Like, I didn't really have any like, roller skating on a track skill, and it definitely was hard on the body and took a long time. But there's amazing athletes for both banked and flat.
I have one roller derby story really quick. So I was bartending at the Palo, and afterwards,
I feel like every great story starts with
Ginger Mortis, right? That's what she pronounced.
Who is my best friend from high school, by the way.
That's so cool. I've
We're
known her
all connected.
Yeah.
I've known her for years, and she, of course, bartended at the Palo Verde too. So it was after my shift, so I had some shift drinks, and then I had expressed, little Angela's like, I want to try roller derby, and she's like, cool, here's my skates, go have fun. So I decided to skate in the Palo. There was nobody in there. And I went into the guy's bathroom for some reason, and I ate shit.
Oh, that's like the worst place too.
It's so true. Yeah. And those of you who don't know the Palo Verde, Dirty Verde.
The Dirty Verde.
It was fucking wretched.
Oh,
yeah. So that's
so
and
bad.
then I immediately was like, maybe this isn't for me. Thanks.
I mean,
I'll leave it to you, hot babe.
I feel like that's real traumatic.
No, No, I did have some ladies amongst the years being like, oh, get this, but that's something that just never came. But I've always admired it, and it's amazing that those.
They're always looking for refs.
There you go.
Just saying.
Yeah, I think roller derby really helped me with my confidence and my ability to put myself out there and make shit happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you definitely take those attributes into
real life.
Real life and your own business that is successful.
Yeah.
It is successful.
So the experience with roller derby as a captain, as a trainer, as a manager, you're dealing with a lot of very strong-willed women, and you've got an audience, and you're planning events. These are big events. So I helped do all of that, and then you can apply that into your life in other, aspects as far as business goes. And roller derby, you really need to put that shit on your resume.
For real.
It's a lot of work. Running a league, skating, training, it's a business.
Teamwork, how to diffuse situations, because I'm sure there's lots of
different
Oh,
personalities.
yeah, it's all
personalities.
it's HR. It's for our league, I speak to the media quite a bit, and that was really hard at first because, as my dad would tell people, I have a mouth that would make a sailor blush, so I cursed quite a bit. So that was kind of hard, but I agree with her. I agree with Colleen. I think that if you are in roller derby, that's definitely something you can put on your resume, because you're thrown into so many different situations. And I've done things that for sure I wasn't trained for, but I know how to do now. I know how to do AV stuff, and I know how to do bout production stuff, which is a huge deal. People don't realize how much work goes into roller derby, and it's cool because there's so many different people from so many different walks of life that the people take over what their strengths are, but it's cool because then they teach all of us, and then we all get the benefit of that too, whereas we get those skills too. So it's a huge community, and
DIY.
I've learned so much about myself and life and just everything else through derby. It's great.
It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah. Well, let's do a music break.
For real this time. I got awkward and I had too much espresso and I jumped the gun on that.
You're good, dude. Preference?
Let's start with Kat.
Okay.
What is kick us off into a music song that represents you or your business or something that's near and dear to you?
Well, I really right now one of my personal favorites is Witch's Wrath from the Bridge City Sinners.
Nice. All right.
There you go, right here on the Sound Sister Podcast.
When I have for you. give a fuck about you. And they say that God's the one that judges us, not ashamed of the things I do. There's nothing more here, the soul is dead and gone. I kick and scream, but there's no life left in these lines. I've sold my soul, after death there's so much more. I will live out the afterlife as the devil's little whore. I will live out the afterlife as the devil's little
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you. So let's kind of talk about your taxidermy stuff.
Yes.
Have you done anything weird, like super weird?
No.
You got something in your bag? Yes.
What'd you bring?
What?
Yes. So I do like these are I do bats and
I
it's
love
very simple. That's a
bats.
bat. No, I don't do like.
This is cool.
I do have friends who do weird stuff.
She said doo-doo.
So Megan McKimmy, she also goes by Megan Machine. She does amazing taxidermy. Like I will get things that are, some of them are pre-taxidermied, some of them I will taxidermy myself. I don't have a huge amount of skill in that.
Yeah.
But like Megan one time she made like a 3-horned ox. I don't know that's how you pronounce it, but it had like 3 horns and then she used like crushed obsidian on its head and stuff too. It was beautiful. It was like super amazing. But she does really amazing taxidermy too. But I do like little things like this. So beautiful. Because it's, you know,
How do you
guys can't see.
How do you get your animals? Like, do you just go?
Okay, so where I
them? specifically
order them from is
you order them?
Yeah, I order them from they're from ethical sources, but I order them from a paraplegic who is a war veteran, and how he supports himself is by selling taxidermy
okay,
goods.
so you don't just like, I'm gonna go get me a
Great.
bat.
So you,
God, no.
so you keep the independent chain going.
Yeah, I do. I keep, I try to as much as possible, and even with my jewelry, like I'll show you guys some jewelry I bought too. But even with my jewelry as well, I try to, like, if I do need to get pieces I can't make myself, like I get succulents that are cast from a couple. It's called Burnout Castings. They sell on Instagram, but it's a husband and wife couple that make all these different castings of succulents and stuff. So I'll buy from them and use like a piece of their succulent on some of my jewelry or whatever. But as far as the taxidermy goes, I'll usually get an animal and then I'll taxidermy it with like flowers and crystals and all that stuff. So the bat, like this bat that I have here, was already posed and everything when I got it. But when I got that butterfly, it was folded in half, and I have to. People come to my house and they don't know who I am. It's gonna be real weird. I have to refrigerate them for a little bit. So I have a container that it goes in my refrigerator. My kids and my husband know that it's for my business, and anything that I have to make pliable goes into the fridge. So with that specific, that is actually a sunset moth. They come from Madagascar. Wow, that's pretty. And when I got it, its wings were folded. So it was like if you see, you know, butterfly and a flower and their wings are folded, and then I have to put it in the fridge for a few days, and then I have to splay out the wings and like pin it and all that stuff, and then it has to dry for a few more days, and then I frame them up with flowers and crystals and all that stuff. So I do a few different types of animals and insects and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
Well, what I think is amazing about these pieces, it's more than just taxidermy. You're really trying to cover the essence of the soul that it's representing, like life and
right, and
its
for
personality.
the bats that I do sell, I do give a portion to various bat rescues because they're my favorite animal. And
I love that.
I found it very surprising that in the state of Arizona we have 28 different species of bats. It's the largest it's the most concentrated bat population in all of the United States in one area, and we have no actual bat rescues. There are individual people that are trained to take care of them in their home or like in a facility that they can use, but there's no separate bat rescue in Arizona, which I think is strange. But again, because we have so many species.
Interesting.
But I do like to give a portion of that to various bat rescues and stuff, because bats are really integral to our ecosystem. They're protected. Most bats are protected in Arizona because they are one of the largest pollinators of saguaro cactuses, which are also protected in the state of Arizona.
The more you know. This is interesting.
I really like bats, guys.
That's great. So how about the inner workings of your business then? How you go about, because I see some of your social media feeds and you got some industrial stuff you're rocking there, girl. Like all your tools and gadgets. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, I have a whole production facility at the Apothecary at the ghost town. It's a small little room, but there's a lot in there, a lot of equipment. We do all the skincare making right there. I formulate all the recipes myself. And then I have got a few girls helping me with production at this point. And we do a lot of wild harvesting. So I'll wild harvest creosote. It's also called chaparral or greasewood. And I infuse that into different organic oils. What else are we harvesting? Are you familiar with the brittle bush?
Please tell me.
Okay, so the brittle bush grows all over Arizona. If you saw,
is it brittle?
Like, oh, that kinda. If you saw, you're like, oh yeah, that bush. And out of that bush, there's little yellow flowers that grow. Those flowers are known as arnica of the desert. Are you familiar with arnica?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. I got
All right.
plantar fasciitis. So.
Okay, so
Yep.
you're familiar. Oh, you
Old
know
ass
what?
feet.
On another note, plantar fasciitis is indicative of an issue with digestive health.
Yes.
Okay.
I figured a lot of this out.
The hard way.
Yep.
Mixology. But the brittle bush, we've been infusing that into something called bruisies. So I've made a few products with Derby girls in mind. Bruisies, the Superstitious pain relief stick, praying hands. Praying hands is a rock formation at the Superstitious Mountains. It looks like praying hands, but the product that I made is warming. It's good for chronic pain. It goes deep. It helps to promote healing and increase the circulation of the blood into the area, so that promotes healing. But I have approximately, I'm gonna guess, 80 different products right now that I make. There might be more, but I have a whole nother product line that I cannot reveal at this time because I'm collaborating with another local business.
That's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun. So one thing I am expanding into is DIY for the customers interested in doing it themselves. Some people want to make their own lip balm. Some people want to make their own lotion, their own bath bomb, this sort of thing. So what I'm going to start doing is offering classes to help people and give them access to all these ingredients. Because it took me over 4 busy years to collect my supply of ingredients, and to purchase some of these things in small quantities is kind of difficult. So anybody who wants to come to the Apothecary and really explore different ingredients and have it right at their fingertips and make their own lip balm, their own whatever the class is about, it's really given you a palette of colors that you wouldn't have access to otherwise.
And you're empowering other people to do something natural and to understand what they're putting on their skin.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And I'll teach about the ingredients. I'll teach how to make the recipe. I'll teach, why am I even doing this? You can buy skincare anywhere, but you can't buy the type of skincare I'm making anywhere. There's a lot of handmade, quotation mark, natural, but they're not 100%. They're still putting fragrances in or dyes, and I wanted to avoid that and give people the option.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, because when I was I was a licensed massage therapist for a long time, and I did aromatherapy. Like I did 200 hours of that. The FDA, that's also not really something that they pay attention to. So anyone can technically put on their aromatherapy, or this is 100% essential oils, but you don't know if it really is, except if you do your research to know which ones are pure.
There's a lot of deception with labels.
Right.
There really is.
Question.
Yeah. So fragrance can encompass so many other ingredients. You could just put that one word, fragrance, and it could be over 100 different things in there. Here, you guys might not know this. Do you know what the original natural flavoring came from in food?
No.
Beaver butt juice. What? Comes from their anal glands being expressed.
What in the fuck?
Right, so I crossed
Anal
over.
butt juice.
I kind of want to make a shot that's called anal butt juice.
I feel like that's a crust band name.
Right,
That's a crust band
That's
name.
a crust band name. There you go. Anal butt juice.
So
Create a song, ladies. Go.
Well, who was the first guy to figure that out?
I know.
right?
Yeah, right? Gross.
Come on.
Walk us on that journey.
Yeah, really? Who got that close to that? I was like, let me go ahead and...
Yeah, well, this tastes kind of good. I'm gonna put it in Cheerios. Oh wait, sorry, Cheerios. I don't know if you do that.
Oh no.
Just somebody.
That's so gross.
I can't to the even.
Somebody had to try it.
I'm looking at this beaver's butt. It tastes good. I'm gonna
So
use
funny. Do you have any ghost stories?
No, I was
for
gonna
them?
say let's talk about the other side. I've been holding back.
I know. I can see you. I can
Come
see
on,
you.
man.
She's like,
Look
she's
at what we
waiting.
started.
So let's preface it for they may not know.
We're huge dorks when it comes to like ghosts, paranormal, conspiracy theories, Sasquatch, aliens.
UFOs.
That's our okay. We
so-
started out like we're gonna do music and art and everything else. Somehow another main topic now is these things. So it's pretty amazing that you're here. Let's
Like
talk
we're
about
we're
it.
completely fucking terrified of like ghosts and stuff, but
What?
it's so
Why?
it's scary. It's well known as scary, so it's
All right.
Like correction.
They're not always
correction
scary.
Well,
ghosts.
how I see it is like stay out of my house. You know, like ghosts are cool, but like I don't want to see you. I don't want to feel you.
Yeah.
Like I respect you. So hopefully
Well,
there's none in here, right?
My roller derby name is Dolly de los Muertos.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, I remember you.
And now it all makes sense.
Don't tell anybody anything.
I love it. We bartended together, didn't know it. We're like, amazing.
oh, Angela.
So I appreciate the dead.
Okay.
And I appreciate, I don't want to die right now, but it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Right.
But all right. So all the experiences
Go
that
in
I've
there.
had, it's been like, what in the hell's going on? Like, what is this? How, why am I feeling these like messages? The way that the communication happens for me, it's not necessarily like. It's hard to explain. It's almost like I'm communicating, but it's not like I'm actually hearing words. It's not like I'm actually seeing things,
Right.
although that has happened too. It's not even a feeling. So I don't know how to explain it, but I do get messages the way I get the messages.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it happens, it can happen during the day, it can happen during the night, but the time when it's the most powerful for me is that in between state of sleep and awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And someone told me a long time ago that the reason why it's so open right there is because it's the closest you get to death.
Right.
And I've been woken up many times. I've seen things many times, and I've gotten a lot of messages for people that I don't know.
Really.
And I don't know this information. And I tell them, and it's, it makes sense. They start crying. They say, how do you know this? I'm like, I don't know. They just told me. And, I was working at a doctor's office, and there were a couple patients that would come in, and the gentleman passed away, and I loved both of them very much. And the gentleman passed away, and his wife was still alive, and he came to me in the middle of the night, and he was a spunky dude. He was feisty. He was smart ass, basically, but he was persistent. And that's the energy I got from him. Like, I knew it was him. He was like trying to talk to me, and I was like, I'm trying to sleep, leave me alone. And I could almost feel like him pull my arm and like, no, you're gonna listen.
So could you hear him, like, or
it's not an actual
like a dream state? Yeah.
I don't know how to explain the communication, but I hear the words, I feel the energy, I feel the emotions, and he had some messages for his wife, and he wanted me to give them to her, and it didn't make sense to me at all, but I wrote it all down because the doctor I was working for at the time was very supportive of this. He was a huge Edgar Casey follower who's look him up if you don't know who that is, but he was an intuitive healer.
Okay.
But he was very supportive of me having this connection. And what happened was after I had this visit from the guy and I wrote down all the messages, it wiped me out. I couldn't even go to work the next day.
Wow.
I was just drained. And, you know, anywhere else, I'm not going to call, sorry, I can't come to work today because this ghost guy was like bothering me all night and sucked the energy out of me.
Right.
But the doctor I worked for understood. And when I went to work and showed him everything and explained it to him, he's like, well, you have to call his wife. I'm like, what do you mean I have to call his wife?
What?
He said, you need to call her. You are obligated to give her this information.
Right.
I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. So I called her and I told her, I said, hey, your husband visited me and I need to give you this information. And she's like, okay. And I told her everything and she started to cry.
Wow.
And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, he told you this? She's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wow.
I know exactly who you're talking about because he was referencing someone that is on the other side with him now that he's with. And details. And I have a lot I don't want to say people's names because people might not want me to.
Fine.
But I ignore a lot of it and I don't tell a lot of people things. But one thing you guys might be interested in is when I am getting a message for people, a lot of times, this happened in the past 6 years now, I'm getting songs with it.
Huh.
So there's tunes, there's music, there's a song that they're giving me the message with because that song is either appropriate to the message they want me to give them or appropriate to them and that person that they want me to talk to, that where it'll make it click. It's like they're giving me little tidbits that only would make sense to the person. And like so there's one person who came to me and I never spoke to the person they wanted me to talk to because that person didn't want to talk to me because I didn't really know them and I don't blame them.
Right.
But the person who came to me who had passed, she, I don't even want to say sex or she or he, but they committed suicide. And the song they came to me with was, what was the song? Singing in the Rain. I don't listen to that song. Singing in the rain. Yeah. Look up the lyrics and think about someone who has taken their own life and passed. And, whoa. Yeah, that's... Yeah, like it made a lot of sense. And the other thing I got was the person, a lot of times if I get a message from someone, sometimes I become them. And I am seeing what they're seeing. And that's
how you get so drained.
Yeah. I'm seeing what they're seeing, and I saw myself inside some weird, like not a room, because it wasn't tall enough to be a room, but there was a door, and I could see out the glass door, and there was like a room out there, but I was inside like a cubby type thing. And it was like... Anyway, I looked up what the cremation device looks like that you get in. They put the bodies in, and that's where I was. I was inside of that. And this person, I didn't feel any of the pain or anything. There was no pain involved. But this person was just like, "What's happening to me?" You know, a lot of people don't even know they've died. Yeah, they're dead. But this person, I was inside of that, and I saw it. And then I asked them, like, well, was that person cremated? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. Cool. All right, I'm
wow.
I won't go on forever, but
I do have a question. For me, as far as, because I've gone to a lot of like abandoned buildings to photograph. That's like one of the things that I love to do. And so as far as like the ghost thing, I'm not really as scared as like I know Gabby is to Drabby. That they've talked about. I mean, I am, but I usually out loud say, okay, I respect you, please. You're scaring me. And usually they stop. For me, it's UFOs. That's the thing that freaks me the fuck out. And I'm not even going to go into that. But my question, though, is I have this theory because I think that everyone has the ability for all that. It's just that there's some people that are more tapped into that.
Yes, I
because
agree as well.
when I was a massage therapist, I think part of the reason why I got burnt out is because I feel people's stuff like all the time.
Yeah,
and then
you're
Yeah.
in a, when you're a massage therapist too, you're in a very like intimate setting with people.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with hairdressing. I used to feel drained doing hairdressing all the time, and it's because you're in very intimate contact with people.
Right.
And especially with massage therapy, you're releasing a lot of things.
Well, and I'm a very sensitive person, so even you talking about stuff, like I felt it and I wanted to cry because like I could feel that certain things, and I don't know if it's just me being like, oh, am I just that sensitive a person and I just care that much, but sometimes it's like it's a lot. Like I would feel people's headaches sometimes or their stomach aches or different things, and I think that I've shut it off a lot, and so I've kind of ignored it because it came too much.
I think that's what a lot of people do.
So that's what I think. That's what I
think
hear about
too.
that.
It depends on families you grew up in. Like I was raised in a really Catholic family.
Me too.
And Roman Catholic. So it was
Yeah, my mother was raised by nuns.
Yeah, my dad too. So it was kind of hard for my parents are totally all about it now, but it was really hard for my parents to kind of accept it first. The very first time my mom's passed now, but my mom told me before she passed, when I was kind of talking to her about like this stuff, like I think it's weird, I think it's different that I'm feeling these things and going through these things, and my mom told me that the first time that her and my dad ever knew about anything going on between us was when I was younger. I had a little brother who passed, and I told my parents that I was playing with him in my room. And which they're like, oh, little kids, whatever. But what really freaked out was my dad was the same day I told my dad something, I don't even remember, but I told him something that I said his grandmother said, and his grandmother died 2 years before I was born.
Wow.
So, and my dad's like, no, it couldn't have been her, like, because my dad thought I was saying a physical person told me. Mm-hmm. So I described his grandmother to him. Wow. And it was like 4 or 5, so I didn't know. So I've had really weird experiences my whole life. It's usually, unfortunately for me, it usually revolves around death. I I felt it before my mom died that she was gonna die. Yeah. Which, that could be, I kind of excused it at the time as, it's my mom, whatever. Because I think being raised Catholic, I was always like, this isn't something that I should be talking about. But it's happened quite a bit of other times. Recently, I had a friend pass, and I have a lot of dreams. That's how things come to me, is dreams or physical feelings. And I had a dream that my friend had passed away, and it just so happened it was after I had gone to Tucson for something for my daughter, and Tucson always reminded me of him because he lived there for a long time. And I called him, and I was like, him and I have chronic illnesses, so I called him and I just like laid everything out to him. I'm like, I love you so much, you've been such a driving force in my life, like thank you for always being my best friend. And he's like, are you okay? Like, did your doctor give you some news? Like, what's going on? I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. That was, the last time I spoke to him was on February 8th, and he died the 20th. Oh. So, it's weird. It's weird, too, because do you tell people? Do you be like, hey, I had a dream you died? Like, what do you, it's a weird sort of thing. Fortunately, I met Colleen, so she's helped me with a lot of things that I always thought were very strange and weird, and they aren't. It's just because I have been given this gift for whatever reason. Right. And being raised in a really religious household, it was spirits go to heaven. They don't stick around. They don't ghosts aren't real. Like, and now my family's like, oh, okay, there's some truth to this. But and it's the same thing. It's I can tell people things that usually it's family. I don't, thank God I don't have it for strangers. I think that would be so overwhelming. But most of the time it's family, and I can tell people, family and very close friends, certain things, and I can feel when things are going to happen to friends. Like, I can be like, oh my God, like, maybe not do that. But the first time I've always seen stuff and felt stuff, and I feel emotions and stuff like that, but the first time I ever saw a full body apparition was with Colleen. We were in the desert, and I won't say where, but we were in the desert, and we were by this tree that her husband was drawn to and thought was just like this. I think it's an ironwood tree. It's like it's an old dead tree. Right. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful tree, and it kind of like comes over, and there's like this little like
Groove
like
area
underneath of it, and her husband showed us, and her and I both looked at each other because he's like, "Look at this! This is so cool!" And her and I both looked at each other and we're like, "Ugh." So she asked me, she's like, "So, what do you feel right here?" And I go, "I feel like someone died here." Like, no, like straight up, the energy felt like someone just. It makes me emotional talking about it because I felt it. It's awful. It feels like someone just decided that was the area that they were just gonna give up on their life. Like that was where they laid down to die. So it was very emotional, and we did some stuff to help clear the area and stuff.
And I laid down.
So she like laid down at one point, and I'm like putting my hands on her, totally without. I'm a little freaked out. She's more calm than I am, and I look up, like I have my hands on her, and we're doing like a prayer sort of thing to try to help clear the land and help the person move on. And I opened my eyes, kind of like how you would be when you're in prayer, like head down, stuff like that. And I was kneeling while she was laying there, and I opened my eyes and looked up, and it looked like a person was walking from the street over to where we were. And you know like when you're in the middle of nowhere and you see someone or something or hear something, in that moment you freeze. So I did that. Colleen, like without even skipping a beat, she's like, it's the person's family coming to help them over.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, really freaked out, but we continued, and we did a few things, and we spent the night there at that property and stuff, and the next morning it felt better, but it was.
Can I?
Yeah.
I gotta tell more about this story.
Okay, she can tell more about it. That's what happened to me for that, but.
So definitely someone gave up there in this spot, and this land it's a lot of acres that we own, but so we had our ceremony there. Her and I, verbally talked about this out loud, and then I think about a week later we went back to the property and went to that spot, and we had put like crystals, and there's like little trinkets laying around and all that sort of thing. Well, somebody went there after we did, and they took all the crystals and laid it out where I was laying in a big rectangle big enough for a body, and then wrote "Rest in Peace."
In stones. Like, you know how like when you go to Boot Hill, like the old cemeteries have like the graves outlined with stones?
Yeah.
It was like
so
that.
you laid out
and it was all done with quartz.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's on the property and strewn around the property, but you had to, like, it wasn't there. You definitely had to go search for it. And like the property isn't like it's open, but it's not like super open. Like it's not like
This is kind of in the middle of the property too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would walk through there before we bought it, and it's we thought somebody that was with us that night might have been messing around, like maybe.
So yeah, I got a text message.
Or somebody else did it.
We all got text messages, and we all started calling each other, being like, "Did you really do it?
There
What's
was
going on?"
like 5 of us there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was either me, my husband, or the 3 other people, Kat, or 2 other
Ginger
people.
was one of them.
Yeah,
Like,
and none of us did it. Nobody has time for that.
Nobody has time.
But nobody wants to like mess and make up and have that energy fall.
So I think somebody went there to remember them and did that because they saw that we were putting stuff all over the tree. Somebody died there for sure.
Yeah,
we could feel it.
Yeah, it was really.
When you saw the apparition, what did it look like?
It looked like a person,
like
just
a person,
normal
just
person. Okay. It looked like a normal person. Oh, gives me goosebumps still, but it looked like a normal person, and like as they got closer, it dissipated. Like they just kind of like and when you're editing pictures and you do like the how opaque something is. It was literally like it just.
And you watched it walk towards you, and you watched it just like...
Yeah, because I was like kind of frozen in fear, because I had never... I had felt things, and everybody always sees something out of the corner of their eye, but I had never saw like... And I've got things in pictures and stuff, but I've never seen in front of me a full apparition of a human being. So it was very overwhelming. And I went home and told Josh and like freaked out all about it. And he was all excited about it. But
I can tell you the scariest thing that's happened.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's not all scary.
Right.
Just know that anybody from the other side, it's just like everybody on this side. There's assholes, there's cool people, there's nice people, and then there's not nice people.
Yeah.
But I had visited Germany with my husband, and we were staying in a hotel in Berlin, and we were on, I don't know, the 15th floor or something like that, and it's old in Europe. Everything's old, especially Berlin, and so much, tragedy in that country. But on the 15th floor, as soon as we walked into that room, I just immediately felt there was something there, and it was not good.
Oh, wow.
And I was nervous, and it made me sick. And then there was this balcony that it's not like most buildings that high up where you can't jump out. Oh, you could totally jump out. And my first thought was like, oh yeah, there's people who's jumped off this balcony. And I was terrified, and I was like, don't even go out there. And my husband, like, I was getting all these horrible feelings and visions, and I didn't even want him on that balcony. But we had a great time in Germany. But every time we'd go back to that room, I was just like, I can't stand it. And I have this thing, I don't like to tell other people when it's happening, because I don't want to expose you and open you up to it, because then you're going to feel that too. And it's, for me, it's like a personal battle. Whenever I'm with that bad energy, I'm not going to give them that.
Right.
So it was just me alone. So in the middle of the night, I'm laying there with my husband, and he's facing one way. I'm kind of spooning him from behind, and there's a window, a big huge window. It was like a door that would slide open and close, and there was a curtain in front of it, a white curtain. And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, is that a spider on the other side of the curtain? And it looks like a spider. Like, I couldn't, it wasn't on my side, it was on the other side, and it was big. It was like almost as big as my hand. I'm like, God damn, there's some big fucking spiders in Germany. What the fuck? And I was freaking out. Yeah. And but I was still holding on to that feeling of something's in here at the same time. And then I was like, realized, oh, it's this motherfucker trying to scare me. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm sleeping. And then I keep opening my eyes, looking, and then the curtain starts coming out. Like it's actually coming out. Like somebody's coming out.
Fuck.
And I'm not. I swear to you, I saw it, and I was like pissed too. Because it's like, no, you leave me and my husband alone.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still not giving this to you.
Right.
You can do it, but it's not. I'm not going to let him know this is happening.
Right.
So the curtain came out, and I eventually just like did my little battle mental with this thing and stayed in bed. That trip, whatever that was, I know attached itself to me. Because when we went to the airport to go home, I had been having some issues with my menstrual cycle, and my uterus was not being nice to me. So I was in a lot of pain, but the pain was so incredible that I blacked out. I don't remember anything. Wow. But they called the ambulance to the airport. Wow. And my husband told me what I was doing. I don't remember any of this. I like took money out of his pocket as they were doing my vitals, and I went up and I got a piece of cheesecake, and I ate the whole piece of cheesecake like right in front of the guy that I bought it from. And then they were going to call, they weren't going to let me get on the plane. They thought that I was on drugs, like on heroin or something. Right. And I was not on nothing. I don't even remember this. Wow. And I passed out on top of the luggage. And he's like, I just needed to get you on the plane because we needed to come home from Europe.
So how did you detach it from you then?
It came home with me.
Oh. Okay, so what'd you do?
Oh. Yeah. You know what? I'm not like some expert in this or anything. Right. I didn't know what to do. All I knew is I was terrified, and this thing was in my house now. Oh, shit. And it would sit on the edge of the bed, and I would think it was my cat, and I'd look, and I'm like, nope, not my cat. It's sitting on the edge of the bed now. And I would see dark apparitions in the bedroom on my side of the bed, and just... It would go to my daughter's room and scare her. And then finally, I don't know, I did some different ceremonies where I would just tell it to leave and just bring the goodness around me. And Eventually, it even scares me talking about it because I don't want it to come back.
Right.
Yeah.
But eventually, I got it to move on. But speaking out loud and realizing this is we're in the real world here, and we are alive. This is our life, and they are from the beyond. They're dead. They need to stay on the other side.
Right.
And you just tell them you're not welcome here. You're not welcome. I didn't invite you, and you need to leave. Lots of sage burning.
Yeah.
I do a vibrational cleanse too.
Okay.
I have a chime.
The ding.
Bell.
My daughter calls it the ding.
The dinger. The dingy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a story I don't really share with everyone because there might be people who think I'm crazy, but
It's scary.
it really happened.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's terrifying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got no more questions. I'm already scared.
No, thank you for being vulnerable and opening up about that. So thank you so much. So let's talk about some lighter stuff, like music. Let's talk some music.
Well, on that note, let's do a music break.
All right.
What'd you pick?
What did I pick? My song is Urban Legend from the Vandals.
All right, this is the Vandals with Urban Legend right here on the Sound Sister Podcast.
I want to be a cowboy. I'm going to be a cowboy. I'm born to be a cowboy. I want to be a cowboy. A cowboy! Uh-huh!
So we were just kind of talking in break about, the AZ punk days, and we were saying, we've known each other. Me and Kat have known each other since we were just babies.
Kids, yeah. Like 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah.
Whenever you were in my doll, when that first started.
I don't think I was like 17, 18.
Oh, no. I met you before that, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Just from...
In passing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Punk rock kids, underage drinking at the jar.
Yeah. Do you remember your first punk show?
Local or national?
Both, either.
My first local show was at the Willow House. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It was downtown. The place is still there. I think it's called like Hobnobs or something now.
Hobnobs.
But it was Mr. Miyagi's Secret Police. And that was my first like punk rock show ever. I went with my sister because her boyfriend was like really into punk and stuff like that. And then there was a friend who was about my age, and he kind of assaulted everybody with punk. He was like, I found punk rock. Everybody needs to know about it. So he forced us all into punk in the best possible way. So him and my sister's boyfriend at the time were like, hey, let's all go to the show. And God, I think I was like in 6th grade or something, 6th or 7th grade.
Okay.
And in 7th grade, I won tickets off of Ska Punk to go see Mike Ness and Say Ferris at the Cajun House, which is not the Cajun House anymore. It's like the venue of Scottsdale or something.
Yeah.
So,
the Cajun House.
Those were my first 2 shows. So,
That's awesome. Dude.
yeah. So,
How about you, Colleen?
My first punk rock show.
yeah.
Oh God, that's hard. I don't know if you want to call Butthole Surfers punk rock, but I saw them at Mesa Amphitheater a lot of years ago with the Beastie Boys. And what else did I see? I've seen the Vandals. I don't remember where it all happened. I was young. And it's been a lot of years, so. Sorry, my story's not as good as yours.
Hey, no, that's good. That's good.
What are some of your favorite bands?
Here we go.
Yeah.
I do love the Vandals. And I like the Beastie Boys. And I like White Zombie.
Yeah.
I love White
Circle
Zombie.
Jerks. And who
I love the
else?
Circle Jerks.
I don't think about it as much anymore.
It is
Terrible,
very hard
huh?
when someone asks
I listen
you.
to Harry Potter music all the time. I seriously listen to all the
Harry Potter.
I do listen to Harry Potter constantly.
That's cool.
Gryffindor. Sorry.
But
Thank you for that, Colleen.
You're welcome. But yeah, I mean, I used to go to shows all the time. I just don't do that anymore. I have a little issue with it. Yes, I need to start going to more of them.
I just saw the Vandals play
Yeah.
in Huntington
She did
Beach.
air quotes,
Rad.
by the way.
I did air quotes because it was just the singer,
Okay.
the guitar player, and then
What do you mean? So like when you go and see the Misfits now? It's
it was
Yeah.
Pennywise. It was Pennywise was playing, and
Okay.
so they were like, "We're gonna bring out the Vandals on stage," and those two came out,
Okay.
and
That's rad.
they played a song, and then Pennywise's bass player and their drummer played with them, and it was cool to see because I didn't expect it. Like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's rad!
I just
Holy
saw the
shit!
Damned recently, and that was rad.
They always put on a great show. The Damned always put on a great
Yeah,
show.
the Damned was great.
When it's like these older punk bands, you have to like go see them now. I feel
I know.
because
Oh my gosh.
because they're getting older.
It's so
and-
sad that like our heroes are passing away, and it's like so, and some of them very young. So it's
Yeah,
you're right.
Thus,
like
we need
whenever
to go to a naturopathic like Colleen.
Yeah, I'm fighting this.
But that's even the thing though too, that even if you follow a lot of punk rockers and stuff on their social media, they've all started to get healthy too. So it's but you're right. I think that especially nowadays we all have to take the opportunities to go see our heroes because we don't know how much longer they're going to be around.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when we'll get another opportunity.
I love Agent Orange too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're good. Those guys play. They always play. They play They're here at
They're
least
playing
They
here
hear a
next-
lot.
a couple
yeah.
times a year.
There's
Yeah,
so
I was
much
gonna say
fun.
they're here
There's
a
so
lot.
much fun to photograph too.
Yeah.
Very, very photogenic. They perform, especially like
Nice.
at the Yucca and stuff. So it's always fun to like be in the pit and guard your gear and pray to all the music punk rock gods that you don't get crushed. So
Yeah, no, like going back into the just being older or whatever. I think the biggest one I regret is the Cramps came, and I was like, I'm not gonna go see them. They play
I was
Marquee.
like, I'll see him next time. I'll see him next time. Damn it.
Mine's
They're
Johnny
his- yeah.
Cash when he was doing his tour with the album with all the covers and stuff right before he passed away. I wish I would have
yeah.
seen him live. That and like Devo. I never got to see Devo live. I mean, I could go on. I won't bore you
The
guys.
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I have
dude,
seen The Business, but when they came through last time, I'm like, oh my god, I'm totally gonna go see them. And then like something happened, but I was like, meh, I'll just see him next time. And then I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and then he died.
David Bowie, Tom Petty. These
Yes,
are all
David
things
Bowie.
that I wish I would have
Yeah.
seen. I know. Oh my Bowie. We said that earlier. Oh,
I
my
heard
God.
Ministry's gonna be around too soon.
Yeah, they are coming.
Yeah.
We plugged They just came out with a new music video. I plugged it in. We do like a
Yeah?
punk rock news segment. Yeah, so
Nice.
it'll be on this episode.
Sweet.
So,
Love
like,
Ministry.
yeah.
Ministry's
Did you go to
great.
like goth clubs? Like,
Yeah,
in the 80s or
goth.
whatever? Yeah.
Goth punk rock. People used to call me a hippie. Pissed me off. I wasn't a hippie. I was more punk rock.
Thank you. Like when all my punk rock friends heard I was like doing massage therapy and with all the crystals and oils, they're like, "Whatever, you hippie." I'm like, "Fuck you, man." Like,
Right? But I think I am a hippie. I
Yeah.
just don't realize
We're all
it.
Right.
secret
Such a
hippies.
hippie.
I think the older you get, you just kind of fall into that. Like
Right.
unless you're like a
Yeah.
heartless asshole.
Yeah.
Then maybe not.
Are there any bands that you guys are listening to now that we should be listening to?
Like I
not-
said, the Bridge City Sinners are amazing.
Yeah.
So Harley Poe is really good too. They were just here. And then Cousin Boneless is really good too. Trying to think. These are all like bands that I have recently found or found in the last year that I'm like, oh my god, these are amazing. Why do not more people know about them?
Yeah.
Clyde and the Mill Takers as well. He's really rad. When he performs live, he was performing like sitting on a box that he used for like his drum, and then he had like a tambourine on his foot and he was playing a guitar. And it was like all him, and it was it was like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. But yeah, those are the ones I like, local, or they are local bands, but they're not local to Arizona. They're still like smaller bands.
Okay.
I believe Cousin Boneless is from back east, but I'm not 100%. I know that the Bridge City Sinners are from Oregon, and then Harley Poe is from the Midwest. So,
Okay.
but yeah, they're really great bands. Check them out.
Yeah, I just tap into my iTunes and listen to the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Queen
Me
a
too.
lot lately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, have you seen the movie? Bohemian
No, is it
Rhapsody?
great?
Drea saw it. I
It
haven't
was
seen
good.
it yet.
He was a really good Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to check it out.
On another note, when we're talking about things that we're trying to promote other people, do you have any small independent businesses or boss
I feel
babes
like
that
you
you
said
want to
them
plug?
all.
Is there any that I didn't say that you want to plug real quick before we get into our next segment?
Boy. Definitely. You brought up Arcane Hair Parlor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We want to get her in here for an
Okay.
interview.
Erica
Definitely.
is rad. She's
I've had so much
super
fun
awesome.
working with her on
it
photo
is
shoots.
weird to call her Erica, but that's her name.
Stabs.
Uh,
Right?
Yeah, I have a funny story about Stab. She was talking to someone on the phone, and she was like, I think it was someone she was going to go on a date with or something, but she was all, my friends call me Stabs. So, yeah, I was just like, that's a really weird thing to say to someone. Like, my friends call me Stabs. And she's like, well, what? They do? And we do. We call her various things. We call her, like, Stabarino, Stabatha.
Stabby?
Stabby Stabs, Stabby, like, any variation of Stabs. So it is kind of strange when people call her Erica.
Yeah.
But now that, Arcane is her baby, and she has put so much into it.
She's very
and,
talented.
And, she is.
I have
And-
tons of punk rock stories of us partying together. for
Oh my
sure.
gosh, she's amazing, and she grew up in Japan, and like, yeah, she's just an amazing human. But she's worked so hard on Arcane, and it's beautiful where
Awesome.
it's become. So,
Well,
All right.
on that note.
On that, let's jump into the Sound Sister speed round here. So we're gonna ask you guys some questions, and you just gotta answer them as fast as you can.
As fast as you can.
Oh,
We're going
God.
to keep...
we're both talkers. It's gonna be
be-
so hard.
Just go,
one
just
word
go,
answer.
one after the other.
Bro, go.
Rapid
Okay?
fire. Let's
All
go.
right. So, Gabby, kick us off.
Cats or dogs? Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Oh, cats.
If you were a fictional character, what would it be? And go.
Superwoman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jake from oh god, I forgot the name. Adventure Time.
Yeah,
Jake from Adventure Time. Brain fart.
Making pancakes.
Making pancakes.
Every time I see it on Facebook, I repost it. I'm like, I'm reposting it.
Oh man, it's the greatest.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Ooh, Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Wine or beer?
Can
What do
I
you
say whiskey?
Yes.
Okay.
Wine. I'll do wine if I have to.
Well, liquor or
I
don't
usually
know.
do
you guys are liquor people.
a shot. Yeah, liquor.
We're liquor
Shot
people.
of vodka usually works if I'm getting drunk because I want to get it over with. None of it tastes good.
Oh, I like the brown liquors.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your soul was a burrito, what kind of burrito would it be?
A sexy burrito. No, when I lived in San Diego, there was this place that used to serve sexy burritos, and they were made of cow lips and tongue.
All right.
I just think it's funny. So
Which is good.
That's good.
Like,
no, they
My
are good.
soul
I
was
tricked
a
into eating it.
burrito.
me too.
Or what kind of burrito? Your burrito choice. It's a thing every episode.
If you
I
were-
have
It would
to-
be a gluten-free burrito.
nice.
Lettuce
Good
wrap
answer.
burrito.
Good answer. Good answer. All right.
With papas and eggs.
Perfect. The best. Atari or Nintendo?
Atari.
Atari.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I love me some Frogger.
I guess it's not really a question, but it's more of a, do you like your man like you like your coffee? If so, how do you like your coffee?
I love my husband, but I hate coffee. So
That doesn't work. Dang it.
Damn it. So it's not really a
I
question.
like my man
It's just-
like I like my coffee ground up
My
in the
husband-
freezer. I'm just kidding.
Alongside my taxidermy.
Alongside my dead animals in the fridge.
I like mine very creamy, and my husband is very creamy, so I would say yes.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Things I didn't want to know about my friends' husbands.
It's so creamy. All right, mine.
yeah,
Okay. Shit, man. All right, your favorite guilty pleasure music. Go. Like musician, song.
Jason Mraz.
You said it guilty too.
I don't know. I do like Kesha a lot.
Wake up in the morning.
Oh, not that Kesha. Not that Kesha. Like newer Kesha.
Oh,
And
man.
Madonna, Immaculate Collection.
Oh, I fucking love Madonna.
That's no guilty.
Okay,
You sing
okay.
that praise.
I really,
Praise.
I can sing Ice Ice Baby in its entirety. I really like.
Oh shit.
Drop
I
us
really,
a line real quick.
Here we go.
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 Wait. How does it? Wait.
Ding,
God damn it.
Ding,
You
ding,
guys
ding,
are-
ding, ding. Remember?
Ding,
Ding, ding, ding, ding.
ding, ding.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back in a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily or nightly. Will it
Dance.
stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights, huh? And I'll flow to the extreme to rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage, watch it jump like a candle.
Damn.
Where's the speakers that boom? I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom.
By the
Deadly.
way,
When I
good
play
lord.
the melody, anything less than the best is failing. I told you guys I was a weird kid, okay?
Hey, BTW. That was my first cassette tape I've ever owned.
Great.
Fourth grade.
My first CD, I was telling my daughter this the other day. My first CD that my parents bought for me ever, in hindsight, probably not appropriate, was Boys to Men.
Nice.
It was like the
I love
Motown
Boyz II
one.
Men. Yeah.
Yes.
So the first CD I ever bought for myself though was Green Day.
Nice. Good for you. All right.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to ask that one.
Yeah, it's a weird one. All right.
Which one? Ask all the weird questions.
That's weird.
All right. Well, thank you for contributing to our Sound Sister speed rounds.
Again, thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
guys
Yes,
are
thank
bad.
you very much.
Just real quick, can you guys plug where people can find your stuff and buy it?
Yes. Siphon Draw Apothecary. You can find me at the Goldfield Ghost Town in Arizona. It's just outside of Apache Junction on your way to the lakes near the Superstitious Mountain. And I also have a website. It's siphondraw.com, and it's spelled SIPHONDRAW.
Yeah, we had to Google siphon. We were like, how do I say this? I only...
I have all my social media. It's under the Superstitious Jackalope all together. And then I do have my Etsy shop. The shop on Etsy is TS Jackalope because the Superstitious Jackalope was way too long. So it is, if you go to bit.ly/TS Jackalope, that will bring you directly to the Etsy page. Nice. And it has all of the other information on there as well.
And for listeners, as always, be sure to go to our website so you can see our gallery to take a look at some of the different photos, links, everything else that we're going to be plugging that we talked about here in the episode.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and I really appreciate you taking the time and just bullshitting with us.
And thanks for being badass ladies and advocates.
Thank you.
Thank you for being advocates for awesome things. Okay. All right. So since this is our Thanksgiving episode and, of course, promoting Small Business Saturdays, we want to, in honor of that, thank all of our listeners. I know on episodes I joke around that we have 3 to 5 listeners, but it's more than that. We see the numbers. We see the downloads. We see the shares. We are so humbled and thankful for all of your support. And we really appreciate you just playing this big part in what we're trying to do and just create a bunch of unity and just support one another in any sort of form of expression. And we just love you guys. So thank you again. We're thankful for you.
Yeah, and don't forget, you guys check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. You can also check us out on the website. We have all the previous podcasts up there. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. I'm Drea Doll. I'm your host with the most, with my lovely ladies here, reminding you to always do your best.
Bye.
Bye.